from falling close to the ground. Perish or try to fight it, parachute now. Last chance, the final moment, parachute now and deliver us to the ground. I wanna pull the string. On and on, I feel the speed. Too far to break from pressure. Too much to bear.
Welcome, everyone, to the Chris Parrish Podcast, episode 131, June Bug Jitters. How is everyone doing today? First things first, we got to do what we got to do, and we got to show love to Beardcade YEG, located at 10544 82nd Ave in Edmonton, Alberta, the home of all WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views. Amazing place, amazing, just arcade games, food, so much fun. If you're ever wanting to check out live free pro wrestling shows, that is the place to be. They always have stuff going on. Yeah, don't want to miss it. Also, they're a proud sponsor, so please, if you go there, you watch the show, let them know that you support Chris Parrish Podcast and Beardcade YEG. Also want to shout out Dubby.gg. Use the code word Parrish10 for 10% off. That's right. If you go to Dubby and you want to buy some stuff there, hit that promo code and make sure you are getting a little bit of savings, because we don't want to pay full price when we don't have to, people. And then also got to show love to the Turnbuckle Studios. So if you're ever online and you want to check out turnbucklestudios.org, that is the official homepage of the Turnbuckle Studios. So you can do so many things, and we'll get to all of those later in the show. But how is everyone doing? How are we enjoying our Sunday? We're here to talk a little bit of pro wrestling. And what we're going to talk about, well, we're going to review Clash in Italy, because I think I might be one of the few who didn't enjoy it as much as I probably should have. And let me tell you why. I think I'm just going to jump right into it, because there was a lot of good things about the show. Don't get me wrong. The matches were fine. I have no problem with what I saw, but it was the decisions that were being made. Like, for example, when we were watching Cody Rhodes and Gunther for the Undisputed Championship, I have no gripes about who won and if Cody retained. But hear me out here. Opening match, you set the tone, and you have a finish in controversy. I just didn't think we were vibing off that opening match at the end. Now, Gunther got his foot under the bottom rope. We heard him say on SmackDown, once I do that, the count should be stopped. Therefore, the match continues. But the official missed it. And there's been a lot of attention over officials lately. You look at Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But just at Saturday night's main event, we saw Jessica Carr disqualify Becky Lynch because of the intentional shove. But now we have an official in this match who isn't even looking or paying attention to where Gunther's leg is. And that just, let's just say, I wish the match would have just restarted and then we would have gotten our winner. I think it would have been a lot more enjoyable had we gotten an actual match out of that and not just a controversy. So if we're just getting a controversy, then what's the point? Because I understand now where they're going. They're doing a rematch. But did you really have to do it that way? That's what I just didn't really understand or like about it. Then we go to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Again, great match. But what I don't understand is you go from 1 week with a disqualification because somebody or Becky Lynch shoved their official. This time, she puts her hands on the official again in a similar way, but because it's a title match, there's no disqualification. So now it kind of just takes what you do here, even though it's the same, it's going to get a different result, and that's what I'm just not liking here. Is if Becky Lynch puts her hands on the official and shoves her one way, it's a disqualification at Saturday Night's Main Event in a non-title match. But when she does it in the title match, it doesn't result in the same finish, in the same way. Like it just, the consistency here is ignored in my eyes, and that's what I don't like. I'm just not enjoying the consistency here. And I do think Becky Lynch should have been disqualified. And yes, she kept the title, but Sol Ruco wins. And I'm just at a point with Sol Ruco where I want her to win. I want her to succeed. But she's 2-2 on the roster, and now she's a champion. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, if you're supposed to want us to believe in people, and especially the baby faces, then they should be earning where they're going. So we got Bubba Duke coming in on the Twitch side saying, "Good afternoon, bro. What's good, man? I'm just giving my thoughts on Clash in Italy and why, for me, it just didn't click." So the Women's Intercontinental title match, now I'm happy Sol Ruca won. I'm glad that we're getting a different direction. I'm 100% fine with that. But again, it's just, how can I get behind her as a champion when she didn't do anything to earn that shot? And then the one win she got to get the title shot was a disqualification. And you could have just had her win like clean at Saturday Night's Main Event to get that title opportunity. But no, we have Becky disqualified. And then in a match where, in my eyes, Becky should have been disqualified again because she did the same thing a week later. Nothing. And then that capitalized. So it just puts a weird little asterisk on the match in my eyes because, again, we really thought that the consistency was there. And it just wasn't. Then we go to Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. And this match had everyone entertained. But what I don't understand is the constant overkill of finishes. And we saw 7 F5s delivered from Brock Lesnar to Obafemi. Now, I understand you want to make a trilogy out of this, and by doing so, Brock Lesnar has to win. That's fine. You're making Obafemi look unstoppable in a loss by needing 7 F5s, sure, but could you not have done this just a different way? And that's where I think I'm at a point where we're getting the same thing, and that's ironically what I wanted out of this. I wanted either Obafemi to squash Brock one more time, or I wanted to see Brock do the same to Oba. Very similar to what we were getting with UFC heavyweight title fights. At any point on any shot, it's enough to end the fight just like that. And I think that surprise factor should have been there. And then on this trilogy fight, this match number 3, as Oba said after he won his 4-way at Raw to qualify himself into the semis for King of the Ring, and we'll get to that later. He mentions they're 1-1, and he's ready for that third fight. So again, I'm okay with the trilogy here, but it was just the overkill on how we got there. It just didn't land for me. And then this kind of takes us all the way to the main event here. Roman Reigns and Jacob fought too. And once again, with Roman Reigns in championship matches, aren't we not used to the overbook and overkill? And this is the one time we all expect it, and you don't. What was the whole point of Jacob Fatu and his reign going through the Usos all the time if the Usos aren't even getting involved in this match? What's the point of having Jacob Fatu be almost courted by the MFTs and not have the MFTs involved in this match? But once again, you just have Roman Reigns pin cleanly Jacob Fatu. Now, I understand this whole thing goes into Jacob Fatu acknowledging Roman as his tribal chief on Monday, because that was the result of tribal combat. But now, when you had this mega star in Jacob Fatu, who's on the rise, now he just falls back in line. It's almost why this is almost, in my eyes, the danger of putting all these Samoans up against Roman Reigns. They're just going to play second fiddle all the time. And I think we all were just enjoying Jacob Fatu's massive destruction run on SmackDown for it to go away. So, again, like, to me, I don't think Clash in Italy was a terrible show. But the decisions from the matches and with the execution just didn't land for me. Now, if you gave me the same show again and gave me different outcomes or different ways of getting to the outcomes, I think I would have a much more positive vibe to that show. But I just couldn't enjoy it based on some of the decisions. And I'm really, I think, just more disappointed with that Cody Rhodes Gunther match because of just how little it really provided us. It was a short match, and just, I don't think controversy is the best way to start your show. But that just sounds like they're in need of a little help. And well, Turnbuckle Studios, we're no stranger to asking for help. In fact, we do it every episode. And all you have to do is go to turnbucklestudios.org/join. So go check this out right now, and you can perhaps watch how you can join the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
A Turnbuckle Affiliation Program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
And if you want to help the Chris Parrish Podcast, all you have to do is hit like, follow, subscribe. That's right. All the simple things that all it does with one click of a button. All you have to do is like, follow, and subscribe. It's not that hard, and it helps the channel. So please, if you're on any one of the major platforms that we stream on, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, X, Facebook, even Kick, even searching the Chris Parrish Podcast on Spotify, if you can just like, follow, subscribe, that would go a long way. And if by chance you need any direction to that, my link tree is just down below, or you could go check out turnbucklestudios.org www.chadgable.org/hosts. Now, lately we've been seeing a lot of reaction to the mask versus mask match at AAA. We know now that Chad Gable was officially the original El Grande Americano. And then just on Friday, we saw Chad Gable return to WWE and the main roster, where Chad Gable seemed to be the newest member on SmackDown. He then went on to apologize to Rey Fenix about the way he was portraying El Grande Americano and the disrespect towards the Mexican culture and to Lucha Libre. And it looks like this is what Chad Gable is looking to do moving forward to become that good guy on SmackDown. I think we can all agree that it's just nice to see Chad Gable back on WWE program in the not under a mask. But now that he is, one can only assume where we would like to see him. And I think I speak for everyone when I say put him directly in the world title picture. We need something there. In fact, when we saw Chad Gable, he interrupted Nick Aldis and Sami Zayn. So, Sami Zayn, who's looking to get involved in the Gunther Cody Rhodes stuff, could be getting now a Chad Gable. And that could be now the direction we get for Chad Gable and Sami Zayn. And you would think whoever comes out of that could very well be next in line for that Undisputed Championship. And Cody Rhodes named it the WWE Championship on SmackDown. He didn't say the word undisputed, but it's on the actual title itself. So, again, can we just figure out what we're calling this damn thing? And let's stick to it. Again, a little continuity on that. So it's Undisputed Championship, but your champion doesn't even use the word undisputed. Come on. But Chad Gable, new on SmackDown, back there. Now, do we see the Creed brothers follow suit? Do we see Ivy Nile follow suit? Do we see American Made now jump to SmackDown? That's going to be, I think, the big question going forward. Is Chad Gable not just on SmackDown, but is he alone, or did he bring his stable with him? Because, well, if he's going up against Sami, then Sami needs somebody to go with him on SmackDown, because then you have the Creeds. You got to fight off the Creeds. And one tag team who seemed to make an impact on AAA because they won the AAA tag team titles, the War Raiders, they happen to also make their presence felt on SmackDown, where they went to R-Truth and said, look, when you're ready, put your titles up against ours and we'll do this, alluding to a title versus title match as the SmackDown tag titles go up against the AAA tag titles. So that's something now. And we got to see the War Raiders now on SmackDown. So it looks like the emphasis on the tag team title scene could be ramping up on SmackDown. And if that's not enough, when we found out after Clash in Italy with the King and Queen of the Ring brackets, we all noticed that some superstars had red and some had blue, indicating Raw and SmackDown. And what was very interesting is Finn Balor had blue. And everyone's like, when did Finn Balor go to SmackDown? Well, on SmackDown, we found it to be official that Finn Balor is now going to be a member of the SmackDown roster. So you gotta wonder, where is he going to fit in? What is he going to do? I think we're at that point with Finn Balor where we want to see him go after a championship. and we wanted to see him win a championship. So is he going to go after the United States title, or is he going to go after the WWE, some call it undisputed, some don't, championship? So we could have a very convoluted championship scene over on SmackDown. We could finally get some, let's just say, meat on the bone in the tag team division. But then we need to focus on, the women's U.S. title. We need to worry about the women's championship, because really I don't know what's going on there. It just seems that right now that Rhea Ripley is in a state of flux. So it'll be very interesting to see kind of what's next for her. Chris Best coming in saying, I can honestly say I don't want to see him with Damian Priest and Rhea. Well, Rhea and Damian Priest really aren't a thing on SmackDown either, as Damian Priest is tag champions with R-Truth, and then Rhea's kind of doing her own thing, and they're kind of keeping them apart and really only using them occasionally in backstage segments where it kind of just mix. But I do think we're going to eventually see something with them. It's inevitable, right? Like, it's going to happen. Whether it's just a backstage or even a match, like at some point it's going to happen where we're going to see Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and then Finn Balor and Rhea, and Finn Balor maybe apologizing for what he did to both of them in Judgment Day. Because really, he did take the ownership and the accountability of kicking both out. In fact, he even cost Damian Priest the championship against Gunther. And he even told Rhea Ripley it was his idea for Dominic Mysterio to turn on her. So I think it's going to happen. I just don't know if we're going to get full programs with it. But I mean, if I'm looking at Finn Balor and where I'd like to see him pegged, like, there needs to be some more heels in SmackDown. Because if Chad Gable's coming back as a babyface, Finn Balor's coming back as a babyface, we need a couple heels. And this is where I think the return of Randy Orton makes a lot of sense, because Finn Balor and Randy, or even Finn Balor, and we can even go with Gunther. Something like that would be a lot of fun to watch. I'm very just interested with all these moves over to SmackDown. Who's then going over to Raw? Yeah, like one-off alliances. I mean, it's more of, I was kind of done after the mask versus mask match with Chad Gable and the Luchador thing, but he's going around making his apologies. So if he's okay to go around going to do those apologies, then I think Finn Balor should be allowed to do the same thing. And that's kind of what keeps these continuities together. Understand that they had history, understand that there was some issues, but let's move on and let's kick it to the curb and really then move on. But yeah, who is going to Raw? And this is why I think we very well could see the return of Drew McIntyre over to Raw. We know that Jacob Fatu was moved over to Raw, and that was just right after WrestleMania. So could we have said Jacob Fatu was traded for Finn Balor and Chad Gable? Maybe, but this is where I think WWE, it would be nice if we saw these kind of things. You know, you don't have to do it all the time, or you don't have to make a big deal about it. But you could just be like, during the middle of the match, could just be like, breaking news: Finn Balor has been traded to SmackDown. Like, it's okay. Like, it would be just fine. if they acknowledged this and said something about it, just so we don't have to be like, hey, when I saw this bracket for King of the Ring, why is Finn Balor blue when he's on Raw? And you then don't have to create this confusion. It would be nice because all of a sudden you just said, this just in, Finn Balor traded at SmackDown. Now he's blue, and it makes sense. You have just explained a simple thing. Because we know as wrestling fans, we're going to pick apart everything. It's just what we do. We're not going to change. So you do it, WWE. The only thing we change is our clothes. And in fact, if you see what I have on, it's the OG Chris Parrish podcast hoodie. And I got it when I went at turnbucklestudios.org/shop. So if you want to get the new logo or even anybody else's show, but I mean, we're here. So I'm going to say, the logo does look pretty good. Why not? It's pretty big. It can make a statement. But I mean, you do you, and just go and check it out and see if anything catches your eye.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
So, what I found very interesting with these King and Queen of the Ring brackets was that instead of doing triple threat quarterfinals, we are now doing four ways. So basically, we have 8 aside or 16 aside, and then that will go to 4. Then that would go to 2, and then that goes to 1. So some of the very interesting ones came out, and this is kind of where I'm at. We don't see people like Ethan Page, Matt Cardona. We didn't see Rusev. We don't get JD McDonough. But we needed to get Jey Uso. We needed to get Liv Morgan. Well, by the way, Jordan Grace, not in there. We do just, I think some of the decisions for some of these people, like Tiffany Stratton, the U.S. champion, also not in there. Yet you have the women's world champion, Liv Morgan. That, why? Liv Morgan, who has been champion for 50 days, has not defended the title, but is in King of the Ring to get another crack at a different title. It just seems a little weird. You move Finn Balor over to SmackDown unannounced. You overlook a lot of people on SmackDown, and then Obafemi, who's in this trilogy thing with Brock Lesnar, is in there. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Obafemi, but was this the year that he really needs a gigantic push through King of the Ring when his trajectory is already going to be world champion by, if not by SummerSlam, then by WrestleMania of next year? Like, could we not use King and Queen of the Ring this year as opportunities to trial out new people in the scene? Like, what we know we got already is we know Raquel Rodriguez. She is advanced, and she will face Io Sky in one semifinal of the Queen of the Ring. We know that Obafemi and Dirty Dom Mysterio have advanced and will face each other on one side. So it begs the question, is this going to be a match where it looks on paper that Dominic Mysterio is going to get squished like a bug? Or do we actually look at Dominic Mysterio as, hey, this guy could be the biggest benefiter of a situation humanly possible? Because again, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar are in a trilogy. Do we see some sort of tomfoolery that costs Obafemi this match? Now, I know the whole thing is you gotta wait to find out, but could we have not just said, hey, give us this insane match to watch that is going to be super competitive? It could be like a 15-minute classic in the ring instead of one of the biggest David versus Goliath type of situations. That's kind of where I'm at. And then Raquel Rodriguez and Io Sky, like the most obvious people. Like, could we not have had somebody new in this? And I guess I'll hold that open for the other side because there's still another side on each for the semifinals. But man, it really surely does look like Liv Morgan is going to advance. And it does look like Jey Uso is going to advance. And can we just not do anything with, like, can we figure out what we're doing with Jey Uso first off? Is he going to be by himself? Is he going to be in a tag team? Does he have to do everything? But then he doesn't win any singles titles anymore. Like, there just seems like there's no real direction for Jey Uso, but that is a whole different our conversation. So I'm really on a seat where I just don't know what the big gain for this year's King and Queen of the Ring is. If all we're doing is just giving Io Sky and Obafemi the wins, which I'm kind of on par of thinking nowadays. Like, you're not gonna have Liv Morgan go after Rhea Ripley and winner takes all, which, if that's the case here, I'm not a fan because this would be Liv Morgan and her opportunity to get Rhea's title. Rhea did not win anything to get a crack at Liv's, but I think I'd much rather see Raquel now win and challenge Liv and then take Liv's title at SummerSlam for the whole point of like, okay, well, at least we're getting some sort of direction and maybe we get this monster push for Raquel. I'm still very much wanting Dirty Dom to win King of the Ring because I want to see somebody different have this opportunity. And instead of, say, could you imagine if Dirty Dom wins King of the Ring and then challenges Cody Rhodes and wins, and then you would have Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest all on SmackDown, and they all got moved in their own different ways. I mean, Rhea and Dom would have done it a similar fashion, but how funny would that be? Yeah, I don't know. The King and Queen of the Ring, as much as I love it, like, it's just, it doesn't hold the excitement level for me like it used to, simply because you've changed the format a little. You took it away from the original one night show to a couple months. The finals aren't even at an event based on King and Queen of the Ring. It's at Night of Champions. So we're not even going to get it's like it's not a standalone show anymore. The format of the brackets are different. We're now doing fatal four ways as the quarterfinal, which don't get me wrong, I love the fact that you want to add more people in this, but why couldn't we just make it a bigger thing and have, quarterfinal qualifiers or stuff like that on your Raws and SmackDowns and just do it through TV? So by the time you got to, say, your semis, you could have your semis and your final for both in one show. I mean, two semis and a final, that's 3 matches. You do 3 for the men, 3 for the women. You can do a 6-match PLE of just that, and you're crowning a king and queen of the ring right there. You can. I think it's a simple fix, but that's just me. So let me know what you think. We got a lot of shows, so I'm not even going to pee around the bush. We got a calendar. I'm going to play it. Check this out, and I'm going to make an announcement following.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday night, we are on call as the Raw Patrol is on duty at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday, we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursdays, let us power your dreams with the Xbox Showcase at 9 p.m. Friday, we invite you to come for a ride with the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later in the day, the Locker Room presents Wrestling Recap Delivers at 7 p.m. Always be aware that weekend shows can vary in times, as the PLE Patrol and other watch party streams are always a must-see. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day and watch all of the latest episodes on turnbucklestudios.org/shows. And please do not forget to drop a like, follow, and to subscribe to all of our channels, and when the time is right, all you have to do is tap in.
And there you have it. That's all day, all the shows, making sure we got you covered. Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and Turnbuckle Studios, we got you covered every day of the week, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. There's always something on the go. The big announcement that I'm going to let everybody know is that on June 28th, we now know that the Great American Bash is happening on NXT. And after having conversations with OM Dynamic, I am proud to say that on all the Chris Parrish platforms, I refer to myself as the Chris Parrish, on just all of my platforms, scratch that, just on all of my platforms, I will be doing a live Great American Bash watch party. So that's going to happen June 28th. I will have more information about that next week, but just know that in 3 weeks' time, we will be doing a watch party for the Great American Bash. I do believe it's around the 6 or 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So again, all those fine details, I'll let you know officially next week, but it is happening June 28th, Great American Bash watch party. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a busy day because we do know that both TNA, AEW, NXT, and even WWE, they're all doing shows that weekend. In fact, NXT, Slammiversary, and AEW all doing shows on that day. So going to be a very busy weekend. But I just wanted to let you guys know we're doing a watch party. So come and join. Let's have fun and let's enjoy NXT. Now, I said something there about other companies doing the shows on the same time. Well, yeah, that was happening. And there's been a lot of people saying, well, why are they doing this? Like, this is like don't they know like AEW already has that day? And it's like, well, doesn't matter. Like, if you're an AEW fan, go watch AEW. If you're a fan of NXT, go watch NXT. If you're a fan of TNA, go watch TNA. Or here's an idea: watch it all, or don't watch it. It's pretty simple, right? Um, what I love about this is that it's going back to those kind of like that attitude that the wrestling companies had. Like, we all like to go back, like the older wrestling crowd was like, oh, I remember the Monday Night Wars and how good it was. It was the best time in wrestling, because you had a choice of like which show to watch, and then they'd always take shots at each other. And then you go in 2026 and then you go on Twitter and be like, I can't believe that this company is talking crap about this one. I can't believe they booked a show on this same day, because why would they do that? Like, they're just so insensitive of people. Like, this is the wrestling business, people. It's cutthroat. Who cares if they knew? Who cares if they didn't? And I'm on the belief that, yeah, they probably were aware, but they're just saying, look, we got to do us. And if it somehow connects with them, so be it. Whatever. But at the end of the day, you have options of wrestling to watch. And what's so bad about that? I think it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic that you have a choice of what you get to enjoy. Because Baskin Robbins wouldn't be Baskin Robbins if it just had chocolate. No, the fact that they got all them flavors makes it fun to go there and select whatever you want. I mean, if you're Canadian, you go into Tim Hortons and you just get a plain Timbit. Boring. No, you want to get a chocolate. You want to get a maple. You want to get a glazed. You want to get the assorted box, right? It's the best. Didn't Forrest Gump say it best? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, here's the thing. You wake up on June 28th and there's 3 wrestling promotions with 3 shows. Which one are you going to choose? Which one are you not going to choose? Isn't that the fun part? You have a choice. You have one every day you wake up, and you have one on June 28th. But all I ask, if you want to watch something, come over and watch that Chris Bear's podcast watch party. We'll be doing a little double dipping on that Sunday with an episode at 10 or at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time, 10:15 my local time, 2 hours behind. And then once again with that watch party. So we're going to be doing a little bit of double dipping on June 28th because it is a Sunday. So be aware. Now, we did talk about that future show. I want to let everybody know because as a thing, I do like to inform everybody about what's going on the week next. So this is June Bug Jitters. We're getting into June. Can you believe we're already 6 months into 2026? It's crazy. But next week, we're rolling on with episode 132, titled One Direction. You may have heard me talk about direction, and that spawned an idea with me. And that is, let's talk about the direction of either certain superstars, certain companies, or just situations. So next week, I am going to have a lot of fun going into the directional approach of things and where it could lead. And that's going to be fun. If you have any specific thing that you would like me to dive into, let me know and email me at parachute@gmail.com. That's PERISHUTE@gmail.com. Yes, I did have to think about that spelling. I wanted to make sure I got it right. So that's what we're going to do next week. This week, just having a little bit of fun, getting into that little mode. We just had that busy week and busy stretch with the Saturday night's main event, the Clash in Italy. We're rolling through these European tours. Are you guys enjoying it? Are you enjoying watching wrestling a little bit earlier than normal? It's weird. It's always weird to see Raw or SmackDown on my lunch break. It's kind of just weird. But I don't hate it. But also make sure you're checking out our beautiful Raw Patrol and SmackDown Security Details live on normal time, because the best part is, even though they're live, and like, if you want to know the real reason to why we do this, it's because we want to enjoy it all together. We want to get together. We want to have some fun. It's the unity here at Turnbuckle Studios, and it's why it is the place to be. So I'm enjoying this European trip. It's a lot of fun. The crowds are fun to watch, but I'm really getting my gears now revving for SummerSlam. We all know that that's where everything's leading. That's why we're talking about this Queen King of the Ring. What I love, they're still keep going with the winner gets that shot at SummerSlam, and I think that's great. Hopefully, maybe this time, maybe you do a Queen of the Ring main event at night one, as I believe the Royal Rumble winner should go on to main event a night. That's what I just don't understand. You have two. Why can't they just main event a night each? But that's beside the point. That is a gripe for another day. And maybe we'll even talk about that next week. But it's not next week now, is it? It is this week. And where I'm going with, I'm liking this time, because it's almost like resetting your batteries a little bit, because you burn out going into WrestleMania and kind of coming after. You have that little bit of a hangover, and then you start kind of coming back into it. You're ready to party. You're ready to go again, and then all of a sudden, you kind of have that hangover after Money in the Bank, and then you kind of get back up. You start going. You're like, "Hey, Rumble, nice to see you." So, it's a fun time. I think it's just a little bit of an interesting time period to watch WWE, simply because there's just a lot of interesting parts that are going on. I mean, you got Money in the Bank happening after or later this year, so that's going to be a lot of fun to kind of take you into the end of the year. But then we all know that SummerSlam is that big show. They compared to WrestleMania now, so it's going to be very intriguing to see kind of what is being built to then. And I think we're going to get a couple surprises. And despite the fact that, I said earlier that, Jacob Fatu is, in the bloodline or aligned with Roman, I'd be very, very intrigued if there's a spin there, or if there is a different kind of turn. It's not exactly what I wanted to see, but I'm sure WWE is fully aware that they have something with Jacob Fatu. So again, I'm just going to do what I always do, and I'm going to keep on watching, and I'm going to, hope to see something come out of it. Because even though, like I said, Clash in Italy, I might be one of the few that just didn't enjoy it, but there is some good things that came out of it, and we're just going to have to wait and see how they come to fruition. But that's just me being a hopeful guy. So let me know what you think. Where are we in terms of expectations leading into SummerSlam, and what are you hoping to see going in? So yeah, but we're nearing that time of the programming where it's time to say goodbye until next week. But let everybody know that this was episode 131, June Bug Jitters of the Chris Parrish podcast. I want to take this time to say thank you once again to everyone who decided to make the Chris Parrish podcast their choice on a Sunday afternoon. And I just want to say I appreciate you, and I always want you to be happy, be healthy, but more importantly, be yourself, because at the end of the day, you matter. It's Men's Mental Health Month, but mental health for everyone is very important. So please, always love who you are, because you are never your worst enemy. Have a great day. I'll see you next week. Take care.
We're